If you're marketing online in 2020, you're facing something at a high level that marketers a decade ago or 2 decades ago did not face to the level we face it today. And that is skepticism from potential customers. Now, the more something is around, the longer something is around, the more skepticism will come into play, right? So just imagine, the fitness world, right? Imagine the first ever, ab machine that came out to get six-pack abs. People probably thought it was awesome. Said, wow, this is a cool machine. And it still obviously works today when you see an infomercial for an ab product. But there's going to be more skepticism today than there was back then, because obviously people have seen it. It's been around. So they're going to kind of be like, yeah, I guess another one of these ab products, even though they may still buy it. So in the marketing world, people have seen e-commerce stores. They've seen webinars. They've seen upsells. They've seen downsells. They've seen video sales letters. They've seen discounts, right? So you have to take that into account in your marketing, and you have to overcome the skepticism. So one of the best ways I found to do that is two ways. And way number one is something I've been doing for a while. And then number two, I'll share with you, is something I was reading about. So number one is to simply call out the elephant in the room. So basically you take the common theme that people think, or the way that most businesses market, and you kind of downplay it. You're just really honest about what it takes for whatever your product or service is. Now, this may be hard to do for some products more than others, but let's just take a physical product like an ab machine, right? If all the other companies are saying how easy it is, you just take this machine and you do a couple crunches and you get a six-pack. Well, then your marketing can kind of address the elephant in the room and say, hey, the reason most people don't succeed is getting a six-pack is because they don't use this machine consistently. They don't actually use it as it's designed. It should be used 4 days a week for 10 minutes each time. And also, they don't have a good diet that complements the workout, right? So then you kind of go on about, in order to basically get the results you want, you have to follow the instructions, and, you have to follow a good eating plan. And we're going to send you an eating plan for free, right? Something like that, right? So you kind of tie it into something that you can do to help. So right there, you've instantly established some rapport by building that honesty in there of addressing the elephant in the room that, hey, I know everybody tells you how easy this is, but let me actually give you the truth. Now, the second thing, which I recently started playing around with, and I was reading about this in Sell Like Crazy, which is a book by Sabri Subi, great book. And he was talking about a newspaper advertorial back in 1948 by Merrill Lynch. And at the beginning of the advertorial, it's about basically investing, I believe, in stocks and bonds. And before you get to the content, they have a little box, and the box says why we are publishing this information. So basically, before you actually start diving into the content, they're addressing that skepticism head on. Keep in mind, this is 1948, and they're saying, hey, this is why we're publishing this information. They're giving you a reason why, so that you go into their content like, okay, now I know why they're publishing this. So that kind of helps alleviate like any thoughts of why would they publish this content, right? And I actually started doing this on some of our content on our blog posts. I may say, hey, here's why we're publishing this information completely free. And then I'll go on to talk about why we're doing it, because there's a lot of misconceptions out there. There's a lot of bad information. So we took the time to put together a guide that can answer common questions, give clarity, and hopefully eliminate any overwhelm that people are having as they, on whatever the topic is we're talking about. So if you do those two things, if you address the elephant in the room, and secondly, if you give people a reason why, you can really curb skepticism. And let me end with this note. The reason why, it doesn't just have to be the top of an advertorial or a blog post. That's even for sales. So we work with a lot of new and established online store owners. And one of the things we see a lot is they just say, hey, this product is 25% off today. But there's no reason why. So it can work, but it's just kind of like, hey, it's 25% off today. But if you add a reason why, whether consciously or subconsciously, it can kind of make the consumer feel more secure with their purchase because now they know why the product is on sale, and it doesn't come across as scammy. It's just kind of like, hey, to celebrate back to school or to celebrate this event or whatever it is. Let's say it's a product for, a bride, a soon to be bride. And you say, hey, to celebrate the beginning of wedding season, we're having 25% off this, right? So you give a reason why, which helps people to kind of drop their skepticism guard a little bit and increase your chances of a sale. And if you combine that with addressing the elephant in the room, you give yourself a good chance to curb skepticism in your marketing.